Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Justin Daniel Finance. I am Justin Daniel, and thank you so much for tuning into the channel. If you're new here, I am a CPA with an MBA in finance, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here is financial advice. Everyone should always do your own due diligence, and everything here is for entertainment purposes only. But with that out of the way, first of all, I gotta say, how cool is that new intro? This is my fourth video and first time using that intro, first time with a new logo. I'm really liking it, and if you like it, please let me know. Drop a like below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Today I have got something for you that I think is really cool, and I think you're going to want to stick around until the end because this is an exciting company which I think might have a potential to be a 10-bagger, and that means 10 times return on your investment over the years. I'm not saying it's necessarily a short-term 10-banger within a year. That's a rare thing, but I think this is an exciting company with a cure for a very serious medical problem. So that's what makes me excited about it, and I'm going to get right into it. Before I get into it too much, though, I do want to give a shout out to a guy named Brian Feroldi. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, and he's somebody who is on Twitter who I originally became aware of this company through a thread that he had posted. Very thoughtful, with a lot of research, making a lot of good points, and he's someone that I respect. From what I see on Twitter, he's not a pump and dump kind of guy. He is a long-term focused investor on good companies, getting in good companies early, and then letting gains compound over the years. He's saying find a good company, invest for the long term. And I think that he writes for the Motley Fool, and he's out there. And speaking of Twitter, if anyone is out there and wants to follow me on Twitter, I'm going to throw my handle up real quick because I am active there and looking to also bring good news and information on stocks that I think are worth talking about there on Twitter as well. So, both YouTube and both Twitter is where you can find me. The company today is called Vivos Therapeutics, and the ticker symbol is VVOS. Okay, and what they're going to do, I'm going to lay out a number of reasons for you here of why I think it could be that 10-bagger. So let me just go ahead and lay them out. As I mentioned, they have developed a cure, not a treatment, but an actual cure for something known as sleep apnea. And some of you out there may know what sleep apnea is. Some of you may even suffer from it from yourself or know someone who does. But if you don't know what it is an obstruction of your upper airway that causes you to not get enough oxygen while you're sleeping and causes you to really snore. And no one wants to wake up in the middle of the night snoring, and no one wants to sleep next to someone who's snoring. So there's a big market for this out there because a lot of people unfortunately do suffer from this. And the current treatment on the market, and we underscore treatment because it's not a cure, is something called a CPAP machine. And if you're not familiar with the CPAP machine, it is a very large, cumbersome kind of device. I've never worn one personally. I don't have sleep apnea, but I've seen them. And from what I've heard from people, it's just not comfortable. It's not something that people want to sleep with this big, mask over their face hooked up to a machine. In fact, 35% of people who get on a CPAP machine end up abandoning that simply because of the reasons I just laid out. So even though it's very helpful for people, because sleep apnea, does have some serious side effects besides, just the snoring. It can cause headaches. It can cause lack of, memory and focus because you're not getting a good night's sleep. But even more serious than that, it does increase the risk of stroke by 2 times. And the risk of cardiovascular death by 5 times. So this is serious, folks. And a cure for this is really going to help a lot of people's health out there. So, I like to invest not only in companies whose products make sense to me, but also if the company's doing something good, whether that's helping them through, the health and well-being like this situation. I think that's all the better, because if we can make money, and I hope we do all make money out here, if we can also represent companies that are doing good, I love that as well. So this company is exciting because their cure is actually FDA approved. So when you have FDA approval, you have less risk there, because if you're investing in a company that hasn't got the FDA approval, your risk reward ratio is really wild, because they might, come up with something to get this FDA approval and the stock just skyrockets up to the moon and you're loving it. But on the other hand, it could just as easily get denied that FDA approval and the stock just tanks and your investment tanks right along with it. So you don't really, well, maybe you do want to take that risk depending on your appetite. But for me, I feel comfortable with the fact that this is approved. There is research and clinical trials showing that it works, it's effective. And let's get into the next thing. So we've covered, hey, they've got a good product. It's a cure for something serious. But how are they going to ramp it out? How are they going to sell it? So check this out. They are looking to aggressively ramp up sales in 2021 by distributing this through networks of dental offices across the United States. So think about that. There's a ton of dental offices out there. You probably pass some of them on your way to work or whatever. I know that I sure do. The reason it makes sense to me to sell through dental offices is because this product is kind of like a retainer or a night guard, Invisalign. What the dentists do is they take a 3D model of your teeth, and the reason it cures sleep apnea is because then it helps reshape your upper airway passage so that you're no longer getting that obstruction, you're not blocking that oxygen, which is obviously bad. You're going to reshape it so you wear it at night. It's not as cumbersome as that CPAP machine. And just like someone who, you might wear a night guard because you grind your teeth at night, you might wear a retainer to straighten out the teeth. It's just like that. So it makes perfect sense. And dentists, I think, are going to love this. In fact, dentists are going to be asked to pay $28,000 per practice just to sell this product, which is one of the revenue streams for Vivos, which is brilliant, I think. And you might ask yourself, why would a dentist pay just for the luxury to be able to sell this product? And the reason is, they will be able to double their revenue without increasing their patient base. So let me repeat that, double their annual revenue without increasing their patient base. And if you think about it, it just makes a lot of sense, because when someone comes in and they have, maybe they're just for a regular dental checkup or whatever kind of dental needs they have, there can be, that kind of questionnaire and that seeking, hey, do you have sleep apnea potentially? And Vivos is actually designed, to make diagnosing and treating cheaper. So, if the patient does in fact say, yeah, I do have sleep apnea, I do snore a lot, and I would love to have you do a 3D model of my teeth to help potentially fix that, that's just going to increase their revenue. So, you've got that revenue stream. You've also got the fact that Vivos not only has a product, but they also have the software. So they're selling the software as well for, I believe it's for making these 3D designs. So when you got the software, you've got the licensing, you've got the product, it just makes a lot of sense. And if we were to look at their revenues in 2019, they increased by 200%. They went public in 2020. I believe it was December 11th of 2020. I'm not looking at the chart right now, but I remember that because my last video was on AI, artificial intelligence, C3 AI, and they also went public on December 11th, so just kind of random, but I remember that. And they went public, and 2020, they increased revenues by only 56%. But think about that. 56% in a pandemic year is actually not that bad, because I don't know about you, but how many people were going out, to the dentist or the doctor during 2020? I don't think a lot of people were. In fact, I think a lot of states didn't even allow people to go out for that kind of work unless it was an essential procedure. So, to grow it in 56% in a year where no one's even going out to a dentist office is wonderful. Now it's 2021. It feels like the recovery is in full bloom and dental offices are reopening. People are going back, getting out there. And this company, Vivos, is out here aggressively ramping up their sales force. So they're going to ramp up that sales force, get this out there. And now I think that's why it's a great time to get in. And again, that's my opinion. That's not advice. I always got to say that, but that's just what I'm thinking. So, I do have a position in it, full disclosure. I plan on keeping this for a while because, as I mentioned, I don't think this is going to be something that, 10X's here in 2021. I think it's one of those ones where it's going to take a number of quarterly reports and annual reports, getting out there into the market and letting the market see that, hey, they are growing that. Their revenues are increasing quarter over quarter, year over year. And when it starts to get out there, that's when, I hope and think that the stock just starts to go up and up and up. And we're glad that we had a position early. So that's my take. I think it's early enough where you don't have to buy a ton now, because I think we can kind of dollar cost average in. And in fact, talking about the price, I've gone over the company, I've gone over the product, why it's a great product, why, so much better than the current alternative on the market, and why I think there's a big demand for it, and why it's helping people, and how they have a great strategy, kind of an innovative strategy to get that out to dental offices. And all these things are really cool and exciting. It makes me feel good about getting in this stock at the moment. Let's go ahead and just take a look at the chart. We're going to take a look at the price action of what it's done so far. I'm going to come back. We'll kind of wrap up the video, but I do want to say real quick, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. If you watched through to the end, I greatly appreciate it, because this is a new channel. I'm really trying to get good content out there about stocks that I think are worth talking about, with the hopes that we can all make money and improve our financial health and well-being. That's the goal of this channel. That's the whole purpose of this channel. And so if you do stick around to the very end, I appreciate it. If you leave that like and that subscribe, I appreciate it. If you leave me a comment, I appreciate it. Just quite frankly, I appreciate all of you out there. Now let's go ahead and jump right into what the chart's doing. Okay, so here is the stock chart. You can see they trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker VVOS. And as I mentioned, they IPO'd on December 11th, 2020. Share price was almost $9 per share when it first came out. And you can see that it's been trading, basically sideways, a little bit ups and downs along the way. But for the most part, it's kind of staying around that same range. I became aware of it in April, and I bought in almost at the $9 range. So not quite at the top, but I bought about a little bit under $9. And you can see now it's trading around about the $7 mark, and I'm down on it a little bit, but you know what? That's okay. I didn't buy this again for a swing trade or a quick flip. I bought that because right now it's got a low market cap. You can see 126 million, but because of the fact that I think it's a great product that's going to help a lot of people, and they've got a good strategy to unveil this through dental offices across the country, my thoughts are that market cap's really going to increase in the years to come. So if the fact that it's down a little bit now, if anything, presents an opportunity to dollar cost average down. And if you don't know what dollar cost averaging means, that just means that rather than buying the whole position all at one lot and just kind of letting it ride, what you're going to want to do is buy a little bit here this week, a little bit here that week, and then you kind of average what your cost basis is as you ride through these little ups and downs. So I think that's a good strategy. I mean, I do recommend that one personally. Again, nothing here is advice, but I do think that that's a good way to say, rather than just kind of risk buying at a higher price point than you could have, you can kind of dollar cost average in. I think we've got time before the stock potentially might really go up. So if you want to buy a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of average into a position, I personally think that's a pretty good idea. All right, so there you have it. There's the chart. We took a look at the chart again. The original Twitter feed out there. If you want to go kind of look into it and dive a little bit more, I encourage everyone to do your own due diligence. Do a little bit of research before you just go ahead and blindly follow anything I say. But if it sounds exciting, if it makes sense to you that this is a good product, a good strategy, makes sense to get in early and kind of hold and let things go and grow over 2021, 22, 23, 24. That might be the type of company. That's what I'm aiming for. I hope everyone out there makes some money with it. I do appreciate everyone tuning in. For now, I'm going to sign off by saying this is Justin Daniel Finance. I am Justin Daniel. You all are awesome. Thank you so much for watching all the way through to the end. And until the next video, hope you have a great rest of your day and take care.